pissing down rain today, though it's still quite mild, not cold at all. Had a nasty hurricane this week, but we all survived. It wasn't so bad in the end. There was an article in the New York Times the other day, last week, and it was called something like "In Praise of Mediocrity." It was a very good article, and what it was about was that we live in an age where there's a pursuit of excellence in everything, and there's a pursuit of perfection in everything, and it's robbing people of the enjoyment of life. For example, lots of people don't take up certain hobbies or get into hobbies, and then they pull out of the hobbies because they think they're not as good as some amazing person who's exceptional or has achieved a phenomenal level of skill that they see making YouTube videos, and therefore they say, well, I'm rubbish at this hobby, I'm rubbish at painting, I'm rubbish at model building, I'm rubbish at playing chess, I'm rubbish at playing guitar, I'm rubbish at sculpture, I'm going to give it up. What's the point? I'll never be as good as these guys. And this is the point that this gentleman was making in this article, was that this pursuit of excellence, or this sort of like notion that exceptionalism is the standard model, is actually damaging society. And a lot of it has to do with things like people watching the best of the best on things like YouTube and saying, oh, I'll never be as good as him. And I think that's one of the reasons I've actually done fairly well in my life, is because I've always been aware of my limitations. I know I'm not the best guitar player in the world, but that's okay. I was able to work around it. Like for years I played as a teenager, and I was a 3-chord strummer, and like I didn't really, I understood the structure of playing a guitar against music and stuff as a rhythm kind of instrument. And then I joined one band that was full of assholes, but I got a great education from it. I learned about using spaces and syncopation and things like that, and my guitar playing, I developed my own style from that. Now, which I still have to this day. Am I the best guitar? Not even close to being a good guitar player. I'm an adequate guitar player. I'm good. I'm good enough for what I do. But that's okay, because it hasn't prevented me from playing in a band that was quite well known at the time, and having a good life, playing music and still playing music. The same with painting. I'm not the best painter in the world, but I know that I have something in there that people find appealing and attractive in my artwork. But I wasn't going to give up because I wasn't as good as somebody who was truly exceptional. I have a cousin, for instance, who's like a master painter and self-taught as well, and he's in a level way beyond me, and I'll never reach. But that's great for him. But that's okay. I'm just happy with what I do. The same with writing. I know I'm not the greatest writer in the world, but I know that I'm good at taking complex ideas and breaking them down into language that anyone can understand it, which is something that's good enough. And so on. Everything else I do is just average to good. It's not, nothing I do is excellent. I think the best thing, I like stand-up comedy. I was okay at that. I think I was very good at writing jokes and stuff, but I wasn't as good as telling them. But that gave me other skills that I was much better at things like doing talks and presentations. If you see me doing a talk or a presentation, you know that it comes from in here. I'm not bullshitting. I'm not going through the motions. I make every single talk I ever do different, because I don't want to be a repeater saying the same things over and over again. And also, I wouldn't do it for me as well. And that's all based on the thing that, like, I'm okay with that. I'm not the greatest in the world, but I know I'm okay at that. I can manage it, and that's what this article this video is about. Is the celebration of being ordinary. I know so many people who see my paintings and say, "Oh, I'd love to be able to write a painting or write a book." I go, "Why don't you?" "Oh, I would make a mess of it." Or they go to a painting class and they buy all the painting equipment and they buy all the gear, and it doesn't come out like they expect, and they throw the stuff away and forget about it. You know, they don't. You know, that's not the point. They should be like, one time I wanted to learn ceramics really badly. I'm fascinated by ceramics. I've always wanted to learn ceramics. So I took a ceramics course at a community college, and I was absolutely rubbish at it, okay? But at the same time too, I had a lot of fun doing it. And it actually gave me lots of ideas for putting textures into paintings and stuff like that I would have previously never known or thought about. So therefore, it didn't fail. It achieved what it was supposed to achieve. And this is the whole thing. There's no harm in being ordinary. We should not be comparing ourselves to the best. We should not be comparing ourselves to the most proficient, the people with the greatest virtuosity. We should be comparing ourselves to how the experience makes us feel. If you're not a very good, I know people who are not very good artists, but they love painting. Good luck to them. I have more respect for them than the ones who think they're like geniuses and stuff like that. I know people who do lots of things and they don't care. They just enjoy the experience, and that's because they're okay with being average. They're okay with being ordinary. And that's why I think that article really struck home at me, is that we live in a world where so much neuroses is caused by the fact that people are afraid of being average. They're afraid of being mediocre, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that in terms of your hobbies. Now, you don't want average and you don't want mediocre when you're dealing with someone who's you put your hand in their lives, such as an airline pilot. You want an excellent airline pilot who's exceptional, or at least is highly proficient. The same with the doctors, the medicals, anything like that. You want people who are, but in everyday walks of life, you meet people. Anything we want to try. Being average has a lot going for it, and being mediocre can actually do more for you and make you happier than being exceptional. Because if you're mediocre or average, you're always got a space to learn and improve. If you're the best of the best, you're always going to be under tremendous pressure to achieve every time. So take it from an average man, and I'm very, very much an average man. There's nothing really special about me. And look what I've done with my life, coming from nothing. And it was all because I embrace the fact that I know I'm not amazing, and I know that my limitations are, and being okay and average was good enough because it was more than made up for by passion.